Then Pulse Chain, once it launches, there's gonna be a lot of hype on that. But until Pulse Chain launches, like I'm not gonna talk about it. But obviously, Plan C, if you get into Pulse Chain and stuff, if you haven't been already, if not, then we'll talk about it in the green room in a minute. But
Yeah.
we'll get you into the whole Hex ecosystem, because it's basically the newest L1 that's going to launch. It's the last L1 this cycle, which is pretty interesting. So it's been a big part of my theory of like what's going to happen, and like things are kind of playing out exactly kind of how I thought they were going to play out. Was that the whole Hex ecosystem is going to be the last casino in town this cycle?
I was going to say, like, have you noticed any correlation whatsoever between Hex and any other parts of crypto? Like, it does seem to be its own thing. Like it does, it's like it, because like, you know, Bitcoin will move, you know, more lately. It didn't move like years ago as much, but you know, there wasn't really a correlation before with the stock market. But now, you know, people talk about Bitcoin moves quite a bit with the stock market and other things, and that's probably, you know, mostly related to the climate, you know, we're in. People are trying to figure out, you know, risk off and all this kind of stuff, right? So that's where, you know, you see that correlation with crypto and Bitcoin, or with the stock market and Bitcoin. But with Hex, like, is it correlated to even any other parts of crypto? Like, is it correlated to the layer one? I mean, anything else?
Slightly. If Ethereum goes up a lot, it'll go up a lot.
Okay, so there's a correlation.
Slightly. Yeah,
so
slightly.
Is that probably the largest correlation then? Is Ethereum?
I would say Ethereum. That's the largest correlation, but it's pretty light, because the most of the liquidity of Hex is in USDC versus Ethereum. So,
okay. So it's actually the trading pair is mostly just dollars.
US dollars, right? So we're we basically, the way kind of you know, Richard Hart or whoever's essentially creating the liquidity on the back end and stuff, it's mostly through USDC. So we end up not having kind of the reflexive factor that happens. So obviously, if Ethereum goes up, everything gets repriced in Ethereum. Then the tokens also go up as well. The way the ratios work. But because we most of the liquidity is provided through USDC, when downturns happen, we don't dump as much. Right. And because of the way the liquidity works, you really don't need that much money to pump the price of Hex. You know, if I did $1 million order of Hex right now, I could make the price go up pretty nice. A nice little green candle. Hex.
Yeah. I mean, the Hex. I mean, the Hex supply is similar to other industries that have like a really limited supply, right? So
yeah. So we're our own thing. Like. You know, hey man, like this is the beautiful thing. I basically have a two-pronged portfolio. In my head, right? I have my Hex portfolio, and then I have the rest of my portfolio. The way I think about it, so it's a really good counterbalance when the market's not doing so great. Having the Hex side of the portfolio hold up pretty well, I mean, is really nice, right? And then when Hex is at all-time highs, I'm able to take some of those profits, roll it into other coins, earn money, and then when Hex is down, I take the money from the other side of the portfolio, roll it back into Hex. And it's
really nice to be able to have that lack of correlation, right? Because the thing with a lot of other like, if your portfolio is mostly with cryptos that move in tandem with each other, it's annoying sometimes, because you might be like, oh, I'm down on this one, you know, but this one I want to get into this one, or I'm up on this one, I want to get into this one, but the one that you want to get into is kind of moved up or down the same amount, and so it's just like, you know, it just kind of all ends up evening out in the end. Not always the case, obviously. You know, some of the coins do outperform or move in less correlation. But yeah, in general, a lot of these coins they do move up and down to a large degree together, of course. So
yeah, of course. It's a sort of thing with like Hex is just a great kind of asset that's just I mean, you want an uncorrelated asset as well as an asset where you can earn pretty steady yield, you know. I mean, right now it's pretty cheap. It's like 12 cents. It's all-time high. It's all-time high.
Low right now, right? Yeah. Wow. So it's basically this is the bottom of the bear market, you could say, for Hex. Like, this is kind of as low as it's going to be. I mean, you know, if it goes down 80% or it's already at 80, like that's 80% is like kind of the thing about it though is like, it's one thing to stay down at these levels for years, and some products won't even come back, right? So it being down 80%, I mean, that's a lot. Obviously, it depends when people got in, but a lot of people are obviously still up on their positions. It's all relative, but 80% down is a lot. But it's not a lot considering how many times it went up. Like an 80% pullback. If you told some of the traditional market 80%, they'd be like, "Oh my God, I would never touch something like that." but they don't understand how much Hex has gone up. It's outperformed essentially every other crypto. It's had a Bitcoin like rise from zero value to insane value. So 80% pullback. I mean, it's the same as Bitcoin 2 cycles ago when it pulled back 85%. It's the same thing, except Hex is probably not going to take multiple years to come back. Everything will kind of be everything will be sped up. I would assume, right? But hard to say. I mean, if Hex gets listed eventually, which I got to assume is going to happen, they finally got listed on the CoinMarketCap or whatever. Like that could be an event that could cause another rally to start, and then the whole thing just goes again, right? So it's just it's kind of the way it has to be. You got to flush people out. The lack of liquidity, the price is going to move around, but you want that if you're as long as you have a good balance of things, and uncorrelation is good. People are commenting that my mic's better this week.
Oh yeah, everyone's like, oh my God, his camera, his mic, his voice, his lovely face is on point today.